didn't even get to cross.
With the hero of this story, we will delve into the world of virtual reality and RPG, where life is at stake. Enjoy the viewing. To come to his senses, the hero cleared his throat and began to think about what he needed to do first. The meaning of those guys' words on the stairs dawned on the hero. The realism of the game was on a whole new level. Despite all the realism, it was still just a game. And, as in every game, there are standard rules, hints, and a character stats panel here. Rio opened the command line and studied his data. All the character data were at the lowest level. At this stage, Rio was worse than cannon fodder since he had neither abilities nor equipment. But, as in any game, you can acquire them by interacting with NPCs. Therefore, the guide picked up a backpack lying near the man. The hero did not expect to get something powerful at this stage. The backpack contained basic supplies, water, some canned food, and a knife. Taking the knife in his hands, Rio activated its information window. The item was damaged and had weak damage, but it was better than nothing. Inside the backpack, there was also a diary. Alongside the item, characteristics appeared, but they didn't make much sense to him. The hero thought that the diary might contain important information. The author described events that occurred in the game world since the beginning of the war. It turned out that the night was the most dangerous time because any building could become a target for marauders. Also, there was a shortage of food, water, and medicine in the world, so one had to be economical with supplies until it was possible to replenish them. Rio decided that the safest place in his case would be the sewer, and it was better to get there before it got completely dark. With these thoughts, he packed his loot back into the backpack. Rio cautiously made his way, looking around for trouble. A way out appeared on his path. Initially, the hero wanted to search for something else useful, but the desire to quickly find a safe place made him hurry. Approaching the door, Rio heard a girl's voice loudly arguing with someone on the street. He barely managed to step away from the door when a part of it opened, and a stranger burst into the room. Rio hid behind the nearest wall, hoping to go unnoticed by the unexpected guest. He didn't know if he could trust her. The girl fell to the floor, asking someone, who was still out of Rio's sight, not to approach her. Suddenly, her face turned towards where Rio was hiding, and their eyes met. The guy started to get nervous. Meeting someone on the first day wasn't part of his plans. However, the girl didn't reveal the hero and continued talking to the person behind the door. Probably, she was more afraid of that person and saw less harm in Rio. Rio was surprised, but when he looked at the man who was following the girl, he understood the seriousness of the situation he had gotten into. This man was a real giant with huge muscles and a crazed look, staring at the girl. In the hands of the brute was a meat cleaver. Rio realized that the girl needed help, but he couldn't attack such a giant with a broken knife. The risk of losing his life if the man noticed him was too high. Understanding that the man had entered the room and stood with his back to Rio, the hero decided to trust his luck. But his hands were shaking. A surprise attack could be successful because the giant was completely absorbed in intimidating the girl. Gathering courage, Rio attacked the man from behind while he was bending over the girl. The opponent noticed him only when he received damage and immediately stepped away from the girl. The unexpected attack was quite weak. The man was going to deal with his offender and continue entertaining himself with the girl. Therefore, Rio tried to hit him as hard as he could. The giant was not as agile as the young guy, so he decided to step back a few steps and put his knife forward. An alert appeared in front of Rio, stating that he had performed 3 successful knife attacks, and his skill in handling cold weapons had improved. He mastered the technique of using daggers. Passive effect, increased damage by 10%. Images of instructions on how to use a dagger in action flashed in the guy's mind. The man understood that the guy was still inexperienced and probably held a knife for the first time in his life. This amused the giant. Eliminating the opponent would be easy for him, and he swung his cleaver at Ryo. The hero carefully examined the giant and saw his weak spot. It remained to aim well and hit precisely there. Thanks to his height and build, Ryo managed to slip under the man's arm and inflict maximum damage. The Hulk fell to the floor, raising a cloud of dust, and his cleaver flew aside. Ryo was both surprised and relieved that the first encounter went well. He began to analyze what happened during the fight. It turns out that 3 effective strikes improve the skill. There is a chance of success in this world, but it's hard to say for sure about winning with such skills. The hero's reflections were interrupted by the voice of the stranger. Ryo turned towards the girl, who stood by the exit with the clear intention of escaping from her random helper as soon as possible. Before Ryo could formulate a thought, the girl ran off, leaving all the loot from the brute rightfully to him as the winner. Ryo watched the girl go. She didn't dare to trust her helper, even though she effectively helped him defeat the man. The NPC intelligence in this game was at a sufficiently advanced level. The guy returned to the body of the bruiser to collect the loot. The man looked powerful, and the hero was disappointed when he found only a cleaver and a pack of cigarettes. In this game, NPCs weren't richer than noobs. After taking the loot, Ryo set out to find shelter. He cautiously moved through the streets between houses. The area looked wealthy, so there should be something suitable, sewers or some bunker with provisions. Of course, there could be thugs here, as the hero read in the diary. Rich houses were a real lure for them. Therefore, it was worth thinking carefully before making contact with anyone. Suddenly, the sounds of a fight reached Ryo's hearing. Upon closer inspection, behind a pile of rocks, the guy noticed 2 silhouettes. Initially, he wanted to hide and wait for them to resolve their issues, but if he heard the sounds of a struggle, there was a high probability that someone else would come to the noise. The guy began to retreat slowly, glancing at those who fought behind the rocks. This played a nasty trick on him. Ryo stepped on a dry twig, the crackling of which attracted the attention of the strangers. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments to help the new video come out as soon as possible. Have a great day.